Star Wars only. I don't know what the fuck your problem is.
The Mandalorian Chapter 7. It's called The Reckoning. It's episode 7 in the series, second to last. The next episode's going to be the very last one. And this one, my god, I mean, I almost feel like I can't do a non-spoiler review on it, but it truly was, I would say, the best episode yet. I mean, Chapter 3 was pretty awesome. Chapter 1 was also really good. I liked the most recent episode, Chapter 6. I mean, those were all really good. Most of the show has been pretty good. Chapter 4 and 5 are kind of they happened. But this one, I've been asking for story development, plot development, actually taking the story a little further, and that's what this did, but to the max. We went back to planets that we've seen before, we met characters, or we saw characters that we've already met before, and interacted with them, and delved more into their story. Not really the Mandalorian story, but some of the side characters, and there's about 3, 4, 5 of them that you see again. I mean, I really enjoyed how this episode tied in so many of what the other episodes did in the series so far, and really brought in some characters that make the episode a lot better. And the reveal at the end on the main villain coming in finally, that was nice, but it was like it ended on a cliffhanger, of course, and it ended on a very sad note, I will admit, where I was like, well, damn, I kind of wish that didn't happen. But that's what makes this episode so good. It actually brings your emotions into it. Visually, it looks stunning. You visit a lot of really cool sets that are very extensive in their shots, and you see a lot of stormtroopers and other kinds of troopers that you would really want to see, and it looks gritty, it looks real, it's everything that you love about The Mandalorian, but the story is about 5 times better than what we've seen so far. I'm really excited to see how they wrap things up in Chapter 8. I mean, this episode just was pure perfection, in my opinion. I mean, if I had to give it a score, I'd give it a 10 out of 10. And this was directed by Deborah Chow, who directed Episode 3, who is also directing the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. I think she's been the best part of this show so far in terms of directing. I've absolutely loved every single episode she's done. Chapter 3 was also a 10 out of 10, and that was by her as well. I think she's the best director we've had on the Mandalorian series so far. And this episode was written by Jon Favreau. He's been out of the writer's chair for the past 2 episodes. Chapter 6 was written by Christopher Yost, and Chapter 5 was written and directed by Dave Filoni. And I'm happy to see Jon back in the writer's chair, actually making the story progress more and making the side characters fleshed out a little bit more, making me care a lot more. And this had a lot of emotion in it that I liked, and a lot of tension too. I mean, that's one thing that I think sometimes shows like this lack, where you have a really badass main character who you kind of can predict the outcome for every single episode of, well, yeah, I'm sure he's going to have some struggles along the way, but in the end he wins. Yeah, this episode not entirely so much. This episode is really good. It really drives the narrative forward, and it really makes me excited to see what happens in Chapter 8. And almost sad that the season's coming to an end with Chapter 8. But still, I think this was a great episode. I really loved almost everything about it. I mean, it was a fast-paced episode too. I'm not sure if it was the longest one or the shortest one or right around normal, but in terms of pacing, this felt like the fastest and shortest episode because it just kept constantly going forward. Even the moments where they kind of slow down and rest and you have your moments of dialogue, it's still enjoyable. And it still builds on what's going to happen next. It's kind of what you do when you look at Empire Strikes Back. The first 20 to 30 minutes is just them on Hoth, and there's some conflict but not much. Then the Empire shows up, and that's when the battle really starts to kick up. Well, that's because you're using the setting of Hoth and the establishment of the location to actually build up the tension on what's going to happen and what's to come. And that's what this episode does as well, is it establishes where it's going to go down, where the excitement's happening, and at first it's slowly building up to that main climax of the ending of the episode. But what's also great about it is that the ending, you know that the next episode is just also going to be either pure epicness or pure action. Like, that's kind of the whole build-up, I would say, for the next episode. I'm really excited to see what's next because Taika Waititi is directing Chapter 8, and it's going to be the final episode for this season. And I'm sad to see it come to an end because I've more or less really enjoyed this series so far, and this episode was just one of the ones where you're like, wow, I had to watch it again, of course. I mean, I've watched it twice in one day, and I'll probably watch it a third time over the weekend because it did have a lot of spoilers in there that I don't want to talk about here, but I'll talk about in the spoiler talk, of course, which is probably going to be uploaded like at the exact same time this is uploaded, just for convenience sake for you guys. But still, great episode. Solid 10 out of 10 episode. Deborah Chow's the best director that we've had on the series so far for The Mandalorian. I'm really excited to see what she can do with the Kenobi show that comes out in a few years as well. But tell me your thoughts below. What'd you think about The Mandalorian Chapter 7, The Reckoning? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Why or why not? I'd love to hear your thoughts below. I'm Star Wars only. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see y'all next time, and may the Force be with you always.